Democratic socialism, it is sweeping across the political left right now as candidates are winning primaries against established Democrat figures. And so we want to really explore what the goals are of this movement and whether or not they are durable in a general election to actually determine who holds power. Bernie Sanders thinks they can win general election contests. Take a listen.
Are you confident that Democratic Socialists can win in general elections in purple states?
Well, I am, but I'm mostly confident that the American people know that our country today is moving in a very, very bad direction. At a time when we have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had in the history of America. Well, right now, in the richest country on earth, they're struggling to put food on the table, pay for health care, pay for their rent, pay for their mortgage. People look at the Republicans, they say, no, they're out of touch. Look at the Democratic leadership, say, no, they're out of touch. So that's why from New York City with Mamdani and in Colorado and in California and in Montana, I think you're going to see it in Michigan, people are saying enough is enough.
You can agree or disagree with Bernie, but he has a way of talking about kitchen table issues like food and healthcare. And many of the Democrat socialist activists are now focused on the esoteric, things like abolishing the Senate. Take a listen.
If you want to radically transform the economy into something where you can actually afford to live, then we're going to have to get rid of some of these anti-democratic barriers that our Constitution has set up. The Senate is one of them.
We also cannot treat these Democrat socialists like they're entirely mentally well people. In some cases, they are not. Just check out this lady when she was asked to explain how a socialist would be engaged in the very capitalist enterprise of selling hats.
Are your hats free?
No.
They're not?
No.
I thought you supported socialism, free everything.
No, what is this like? Oh, I thought you supported socialism. I also support surviving in a country where I don't have health care. Get the f*** out of my face, you freak!
Please don't scream at me. I haven't raised my voice.
I don't care if you didn't raise your voice. It doesn't make you sound like any less of a misogynist. Get the f*** out of my face!
That was kind of scary.
Yeah, you should be scared. You should be scared. Because you're a piece of shit. You want to look at my get the f*** out of here!
I never said I wanted to look at her. I didn't say that.
All of you like white supremacist people think you just talk calmly, you seem normal? Why are we upset? Because you're a psycho!
Some of the powerful figures in the Democratic Party aren't exactly here for the revolution. James Carville was the architect of Bill Clinton's centrist campaign to take over the Democratic Party, and he wants nothing to do with these modern-day socialists.
I think they're a problem. I mean, I think pretty clearly they're a problem. I think they're mostly urban-oriented. I think they're way further to the left than the average Democrat. I wish they wouldn't use the word democratic if they're so adamant that they're not Democrats. And think of a new word. Why do you want to, like, and why do you run in our primaries? Go do your own thing.
Joining us now is Joshua Lisec. He's a New York Times best-selling author, out with a new book, Haitians of Springfield, an oral history. I cannot wait to read it. Joshua, thanks so much for joining us. We've seen Democrat socialists continue to win Democratic primaries. Others are poised to do quite well. Is this a complete takeover and are establishment Democrats losing?
Yes, I think so. A political party that has relied on population replacement of heritage Americans for going on 2 decades now is shocked and appalled that they are now their own target for population replacement. In this case, it's these so-called moderate Democrats, reasonable bipartisans. Let's just all get along. When suddenly people to their left, starting most noticeably in 2018 with Congresswoman AOC's ousting of that incumbent, that was the harbinger, that was the canary in the coal mine, the sign of things to come, where the most radical candidates on the left, from the left, to the left of the left, are the people who have supporters. And the last estimate I heard is that there's approximately 200,000 active paying members, as in dues paying members of the Democratic Socialist America, each pitching in $20 a month. And if you're thinking about what one can do with that kind of cash money, you don't need tens of millions or anything of that size to wreak havoc upon the United States. You just need to organize and deploy your people in specific areas to upset elections and oust moderate Democrats, so-called.
You mentioned AOC. There is no doubt in my mind that in 2028, she is going to be the Democrat Socialist preferred candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency. Do you see anyone else laying claim to that rising and enthusiastic block of voters on the left?
At this point right now, it seems that let's say the so-called moderates, the people who say, well, we're on the left, but we're not that far left, speaking of the DSA, or they kind of try to throw them a bone, maybe a little bit of a dog whistle from time to time to kind of show that we're on the same side. Don't try to primary me, please. Right now, I'm seeing that faction of the Democratic Party. They're elevating California Governor Gavin Newsom, also Senator Mark Kelly. I think those are the two right now that are potential front runners. And then, of course, people keep tossing out everyone's favorite wine aunt, not Kamala Harris.
Yeah, good luck being a straight white guy in the Democratic Party running for president. I think it's going to be a tough row to hoe. I have to bite. Your book, Haitians of Springfield, what will people learn about this eclectic group of people when they read it?
Most people's understanding of the Haitian influx into Springfield, Ohio, and I'm a lifelong resident of Dayton, Ohio, which is just next door, and I want to check on my neighbor, Springfield. I spent 10 weeks on the ground interviewing hundreds upon hundreds of people, from educators to first responders, current and former law enforcement, locals. I talked to the Haitian migrants themselves. Of course, people know about the TPS thing, and it's expired, but there's thousands of Haitians still there. What's going on, where is ICE, etc. But most people know about Springfield first and foremost from eating the dogs, eating the cats, eating the pets. Speaking of Kamala Harris versus Donald J. Trump in that famous debate that kind of went viral. Springfield ultimately became the flashpoint of the election, and it was the energy of America First sentiment on the issue of immigration, unwelcome immigration, specifically immigration of people who are uniquely unassimilated and unassimilatable, frankly. That is ultimately what was the MAGA agenda that I believe brought President Donald Trump back into the White House, making him the 47th president. But what I found, Matt, was that the eating of pets, animals, cats, that was the least of all worries. In fact, and this will be probably a bit dark humor to most of your viewers, that was one of the things that the locals told me they liked about the Haitians. They would say, you know, we had a really bad overcrowding, an over-Canadian goose problem. They took care of that for us. We had a real bad feral cat colony problem until the Haitians came, took care of that for us. I heard this over and over and over from normal, credible, hardworking, well-educated, professional Americans. And yet that's not at all the story that was told.
No one was telling the story of the great utility of the Haitian migrants as pest control. But I'm glad you have. Joshua Lisec, a New York Times bestselling author and author of Haitians of Springfield, an oral history. Thanks for coming on and sharing your views.
My pleasure.